Today, I want to explain the photovoltaic production. When we are talking about PV panels, PV stands for photovoltaic. So the photovoltaic effect or the photoelectric effect, it's something that it's described everywhere. So I have posted here a link to YouTube. So in this YouTube video, you can understand what the photovoltaic effect is. It's a way to produce electricity with sun, okay, with the solar energy or the sunlight. Well, it was discovered, it's not something new. I think the photovoltaic effect was discovered by Einstein, our good friend Albert Einstein. So Einstein won the Nobel Prize for Physics or whatever, because he discovered this photoelectric or photovoltaic effect. Okay, so it's not new. It happened in 1921. Okay, so the PV panels or this this knowledge has been around for 100 years. So 100 years. I mean, in 1921, how many cars were there in our cities or in our countries? A few of them. So in 100 years, for example, the car technology is mainstream. Everybody has a car or two or three cars. And now we are working with electric cars. So this technology, but what about the photovoltaic effect? Do we have as many PV panels as cars in the world? No. Why? Because it's not something cool. I mean, there is no brands that commercialize. There are no brands. Yeah. So do you know any brands that commercializes photovoltaic panels? We don't know. Okay. Well, this is market and this is fashion. This is, I don't know. Anyway, since we are, because zero energy buildings, it's something that it's, this concept is new. It's new because we ran out of fossil fuels and we are concerned about the global warming, all that stuff. Okay, so probably, I don't know, but maybe now these PV panels will become mainstream or maybe not, we don't know. Anyway, if we want to produce zero energy buildings, we need this technology. So far, will we have another technology in the near future? Again, we don't know. But so far, what we have is the PV panels. But it's not something new. It's not something from the 21st century. No, it's been there forever. Well, forever, at least for 100 years. We are not going to explain this. It's not our expertise. So architects, we have to use technology. We have to use the technology we have available. We don't have to invent something new. We don't have to. I mean, we need to know what's going on, but we are not physicists, so we are not experts on that. Anyway, just briefly, we need to understand that there are two kinds of technologies, PV technologies. We have the crystalline technology and we have the thin film technology. Okay, so here we have different videos. I think there's someone that it's
Hi, I'm Finn Peacock. This is Steve Webb. What's the difference between... I can't hear it like at all.
Yeah, neither can I.
Oh, you can't hear it. Can someone hear that or you can't?
No.
Okay. Anyway, I don't want to watch the whole video. You can watch it, but this guy is explaining us the difference between the crystalline and the thin film technology. Basically, there are two main differences. This is a typical crystalline or crystalline technology. We have these solar cells. So those solar cells are made of silicon. And this silicon is Silicon Valley. It's this material. Okay, so it's the material of technology. So why silicon? Well, if you understand the photovoltaic effect, you understand why this material is important. Anyway, we are architects, so what do we need to know? Well, we need to know that this is the aspect of this PV panel, the crystalline technology. The thin film technology, thin film PV panel, it's different. So the thin film PV panel, it's something, it's more beautiful. Well, more beautiful. Look at this, we don't have these cells, and it doesn't have to be opaque, so it can be transparent. So this thin, probably these elements are PV panels, they are transparent. You see that there's well, there's like a pattern here, and that produces electricity. And well, this is better for architectural integration, okay, because you can tell the difference between this and a glass and a double or triple glazing, okay, because it's this technology is transparent. So we have this difference. So we have the PV technology. This is the crystalline, the polycrystalline technology. And then we have the thin film technology, which is something like that. It's transparent. If I am an architect, what do I want? I don't want my building to be affected by this. Well, there is nothing we can do to change the shape or the aspect of these photovoltaic cells. They are black and they are opaque. They don't let the light, natural light, enter the building. So if I were an architect, I would like this. And this is what architects want. Okay, so when we are talking about architectural integration, we have this kind of technology, the thin film. What's the problem? Thin film, it's not efficient at all. When it comes to efficiency, and we are talking about photovoltaic efficiency, it's very low. So that means that it's a very little amount of solar energy that we can turn into electricity. But the efficiency of a PV panel can be around 12%. So only 12% of solar radiation is turned into electricity for the crystalline technology. But for this thin film technology can be half, let's say 6-7%. So this is the balance. We have this, we all love transparency. We can have skylights like this. At the same time, they are producing electricity. That's fine, but it's not efficient, so it's not enough. So using this thin film technology, we need a huge amount of glass to produce not the electricity we need in the building, but 20% of the electricity we need in the building. So using the crystalline technology, it's better. It's more efficient. It's not great. It's not outstanding. No, it's 10-12%, but the other one can be 5-6%. Okay. Anyway, there are these are crystalline technologies. So you can see that you can control by separating the PV cells. So here, those PV cells are close to each other and they are almost opaque. But here you can increase the transparency of this skylight by increasing the distance between these two cells. Yeah, that's cool. We like it. But again, the more PV cells, the more efficient the panel is. So if we separate the PV cells, we reduce the efficiency of the panel. And start recording. Okay. So let's go back to the lesson. You can see those videos. You have it's about 10 to 15 minutes. So it's if you are interested in this kind of materials, you can watch the videos and you can learn about this technology. But I want to apply, so I don't want to learn about the PV technology. We are not here to explain how this works. We are here to apply this technology that is available in the market. So first we have to analyze the heating or the electric loads that we can have in our buildings. We have a single family house and we have a residential building. Okay, so we are talking about, let's talk about residential buildings. It can be a building with different apartments or different flats, or it can be a single family house. So the first thing we have to understand is that in terms of energy efficiency, a single family house, it's worse than a residential building. Why? Because we have a lot of area. So to hold the same volume in single family houses, we have more envelope area. So the more the envelope area, the more the heat losses. Okay, so this is what happens in single family house. In residential buildings, we have a neighbor here, we have attached other houses. So through these internal partitions, we don't lose energy. We only lose energy through the envelope. So the proportion between volume and envelope in a single family house is higher than in a residential building. Okay, so this is something that we have to think about it. When I was teaching this, I've been showing this same slide for many years. That now we have something different. We have the pandemic. So for the pandemic, nobody wants to live in residential buildings because we need a garden. What if we can't go out? What if we need our own garden? And what if we need to produce our own food because there's a shortage in food? I don't know. We can think of these topics that we didn't think about a few months ago. Okay. Anyway, when it comes to energy efficiency, residential buildings are more efficient than single family houses. And if today we are in this course, we are analyzing single family houses or buildings like this. So we're analyzing small buildings. So in these small buildings, if we analyze the energy consumption, here we have heating, we have the DHW, this is domestic hot water, lighting, appliances, kitchen, so the kitchen, the oven, and all that stuff, and cooling. Well, in single family houses, look at this, the heating, it's more than half the energy consumption. In residential buildings, it's less. Why? Because it's more efficient. We don't have this amount of envelope around the apartment. But in single family houses, heating loads are relevant. Then we can have appliances, computers, dishwasher, washing machines, all that stuff. And cooling, well, these statistics are for the northeast of the United States. So cooling, it's not an issue. If we were talking about Saudi Arabia, that would be the other way around. Cooling would be more than half and heating would be almost nothing, okay? But in cold countries, heating is much more than cooling. And then we have lighting. So in single family houses, the artificial lighting, it's not relevant. In public buildings, probably lighting is more important than domestic hot water, okay? In residential buildings, we need domestic hot water because we have showers and we use the showers on a daily basis, I hope. In public buildings, especially in educational buildings, do we have showers in the TDS center? We don't. Do we have any hot water? Yeah, there are sinks and we open the hot water, but it's not relevant. The domestic hot water in public buildings other than gyms or swimming pools, but in office buildings, in commercial buildings, in educational buildings, we don't use domestic hot water. But in single family houses, we do use domestic hot water. Okay, so this is the first thing we need to analyze. The amount of energy that we have because of because of the appliances, the cooling, the heating, the domestic hot water, the lighting, and the amount of energy in proportion between this energy consumption. Okay, so in single family houses, heating is the most important factor that affects the energy consumption. And then once we have analyzed this, we have to design the PV array or the PV system. There are two options. We have the PV array connected to the grid. Okay, so we have PV array and we add energy from the grid, or we have the off-grid system. This is also, we can call this standalone. Standalone system. Okay, this is off-grid. So that means that we are not taking any energy from the grid. What do I recommend? Well, I don't know. If we are in a city, the energy from the grid is available. Okay, so this might be the best option. Why? Because imagine that there's something wrong with the PV array. So we still have energy from the grid. Okay, so if our system is not working because, I don't know, something wrong happens with the PV system, we still have this backup energy from the grid. If the energy from the grid is available because we are living in a city or in a town and our lot has access to the electricity from the grid, I would do that. If we are in the middle of the forest with a waterfront, but we are far from the city, and this is very usual in New Hampshire. There are a lot of houses that are far away from the city grid or the municipality or whatever, and they either have to pay for the electric company, Eversource or these kind of companies, and then they charge you because if you have a lot in which you don't have the grid available, then you have to bring the electricity from where the grid is, and they charge you a lot to create these the posts and cables. So it might be expensive. So in this case, you can go to a standalone system, and people in New Hampshire, I think it's like this: live free or die. And this is the motto. Okay, so here you are free. You don't depend on the municipality. You don't depend on the electric company. You don't have to pay taxes. Okay, so I think for the New Hampshire way of living, this standalone system, it's an option. What's the problem? You need batteries because if you are producing energy from the sun, if you don't have any sun, you don't have any energy. And if we are at home in the evening, we don't have any sun. So we need to produce energy in the morning. Then we have to storage. We need an energy storage, the batteries, and then we can use the energy afterwards. Batteries are expensive, they take up a lot of space, but you are free. I mean, you are working with your own batteries, you are working with your PV panels, and you don't depend on anybody because there are a lot of taxes. When you are taking energy from the grid, there are a lot of taxes in the electricity bill. 20% or 30% of the electricity bill can be taxes. Okay, so if you go for the standalone system or the off-grid system, you are on your own. If you have an issue, you have to fix it. If your batteries are not working that day, you can't have a hot shower, but you are free. Okay. I don't know. I would use this if the grid is available, because having a backup, it's always good for all systems. So this is what I mean when I'm asking for the schematics or the schematic drawing. I am asking for this. So do you go for the PV array plus electricity from the grid, or do you want an off-grid system, standalone system? So that depends on where you are. So if you are in Main Street in Keene, I would go for this. If you are in the middle of the forest with a nice waterfront view, but 20 miles away from the electricity supply, then I would go for this system. Okay, so depending on where you are working, you will have to use this or that. I don't know if you are working with, where is your Design One project? Can you let me know where it is?
I know for mine is the Wolfson House, and it's in kind of a more rural part of New York.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if it's on the grid. I'll have to check.
Okay. Anyway, you have to decide. You want either this or that. You can Google. You can use Google Maps. Okay, let's see. Google Maps. Well, it's not King. This is Madrid. Okay. So yeah, look at this. If we are here in this area, everything is civilized. When we have streets, most likely there will be a grid line here. Okay, so if we're in this area, where does it finish? I don't know. But if you're here in this nice pond, and you have this lot, and your house is here, and the closest road is here, I don't know, is it worth taking the electricity from this point to that point? It depends. Or is it better having if you have your house here, is it better the standalone system? Okay, so that's why I wanted the site plan. So we need the site plan of the lot or the site we are working with. But it would be interesting having a site plan of the infrastructures. Okay, so if we have a house here where this driveway is, okay, so we have houses here. Well, most likely you will have access to the grid because this is the road, and if you are here, you will have access to the grid. But if you are here in the middle of this forest, you won't have access. So let me know. I mean, it's your decision, but if you are working with this project, you have to decide whether you want a standalone system or a grid connected system. It's up to you. Well, it's up to you. If we are here, if we have a lot that is surrounded by streets or roads, we will have access to the grid. If we are in the middle of the forest and there's a lot of, here, okay, there are a lot of ponds or lakes in Hampshire. But it's we have to talk to the client, we have to talk to the municipality, we have to talk to the electric company. So that decision is it's very important because that conditions the way of life of people. Yeah, we have a PV array, but what happens if we have an issue here? Do we need batteries? If we need batteries, the money that we have to pay up front, it's more than if we have an a grid connected system, and we need more space. So we need a mechanical room. The mechanical room has to be bigger. Okay, so this is the first option we need. But it's up to you. I will accept if you decide on the system and you justify your decision, I'll accept it. Then we have to work with domestic appliances. And well, here we need to understand what we want. So this is a list of typical appliances that we can have in our home. Do we have a TV? Do we have a fan? Do we have a, well, there are things that we can't have. So we don't have incandescent light bulbs now because we need LED bulbs, LED light bulbs, sorry. This is the low consumption. Everybody's using LED or LED light bulbs now. Nobody's using this one, okay? And but do we have TV? Do we have a refrigerator? Do we have a blender? Do we have a computer? Do we have a rice cooker, dishwasher, iron, hair dryer? I know there are a lot of things. A kettle, cooker, electric cooker. When we are talking about electricity now, if we have a gas cooker, it's not included here, but we might have an electric cooker, so we have to include it here. So this is the hours to consume 1 unit, 1 kilowatt hour of electricity. Okay, so there are things that have a high consumption. The electric cooker probably is the highest in terms of electric consumption. Okay, but on the other hand, how long do we have our lights on? For, I don't know, in the evening, 3, 4, 5 hours. But do we have 5 hours the cooker on? I don't think so. Well, it depends on what you are cooking. But usually we use this only for 1 hour, a few minutes. I don't know, it depends. What about the washing machine? Again, do we have the washing machine 24 hours a day? No, but the refrigerator is working for 24 hours a day. And what about the TV? Okay, so we need to understand the energy consumption of different devices, and we have to understand how many hours we are using those devices per day, per month, per year. So this is it. And then we can come up with this. I think I explained you this last time. Here I have listed 10 devices. We can have more, we can have less, okay? But let's work, if you're working with this, with a single family house, you can work with this. If you are working with a yoga studio or Airbnb, try to make a list of appliances that you might use here. If it's not included in this list, okay, go ahead, let me know. And on this website, okay, on this website, here you have well, you have all the appliances you might need. Okay, so I don't think you will find something that it's not included in that list. And then here you have the minimum and the maximum consumption. So there are toasters that consume 800 and there are other toasters that consume 1800. This is better. Okay, so the first thing we have to select the most efficient one. So let's select this 800. So what is the electric consumption of a toaster throughout the month? Okay, so first, the power is 800 watts. So every time we are toasting bread, click, the consumption is 800 watts. Okay, so imagine that we have a toaster, it's not included here. So we have a toaster. It's 800 watts. So how long are we using the toaster? I know, since we do this, then we wait for, and then ping. How long does it take? 5 minutes. How many times do we do this? Let's say 1 hour a day. 1 hour per day. We are using this toaster. How many days per month? Let's say 30 or 31. So what is the energy consumption? The monthly energy consumption of this toaster. So it would be $800 times 1 hour times 30. So it's 24,000 watt hour. We have to turn this into kilowatt hour. So this is 24 kilowatt hour per month. Okay, so this is it. First, we need to know the power of the device. Then we need to make an assumption how many hours per day we are using this, and then how many days per month, 30, 31. Okay, so this is how we come up with this number. It's quite easy. We only have to make a list of devices. So you have to provide me with your own list of devices. I have this one. If you think that in your house, in your project, or in your yoga studio, you need something different that runs on electricity, I don't mean that we are burning in the yoga studio, we are burning incense to create this environment and to see the karma and all that stuff. No, we are working with electric devices. So devices that run on electricity, okay? So I have these values, and we have this 310 kilowatts per month. For the refrigerator is 205 kilowatts per month. The dryer, the oven, the lighting, the dishwasher, television, microwave, and the washing machine, okay? But this is my list, and this is what my client is. Okay, so how long do you use the refrigerator? It's easy. How often do you use the dryer? Once a day for 5 minutes. Okay, so this is it. But what is the total energy or electric consumption? So the total electric consumption, we have to add up all these. So it's 310 plus 205, 75, 58, 50, 30, 27, 16, and 9. Okay, so total, we have 780 kilowatts hour per month. Okay, so this is it. And this is the electric consumption, and we are talking about devices. We are not talking about the heating and cooling. Okay, so heating and cooling will be different. So this is the total electric consumption of our devices. And again, do we use those devices more in winter or in summer? I don't know. I don't think you don't use the washing machine in summer and you only use the washing machine in January. I don't think so.